All right then. So since we successfully understood how the flex boxes and everything is working, so let's understand the grid system now, which is the second most important thing in the web development layout structuring, right? So what we are going to do is, let's go here, and I'm going to let's keep it that delete this, and for the boxes, I'm going to okay, I'm going to delete everything. Let's delete everything. We don't need anything. Let's keep it completely clean. Delete it. Okay, so now we have the boxes, box 3, box 1, box 2. Let's save these changes. Currently, nothing will be there, just 1 and 2 and everything. All right, so just like the same way, to make it as a flex, what we do, we simply type display as a grid. So now if I type it as a grid, you can see 1, 2 and 3, it's distributed. The reason why it's showing like that is because it is in the column direction. So okay, so now but it will, by default it will comes in this direction. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to make sure they are, I need to divide the columns. So basically by default for a grid, it will take as a single column. So I need to make sure how many columns that I need. So I need to bring 3 different columns. So what I'm going to do is, let's say grid template columns, 1 frame each, right? If I type 1 frame, nothing going to happen. So I have to say 1 frame and 1 frame each, something like that. Now I do have 3 different frames columns over here. So when it comes to frames, you can make it the spaces of 12 frames of the entire screen. So you can divide according to it, maximum 12 frame. For instance, first frame and the last frame should take the 2. So in between, I need the biggest one. So I'm going to make it as 8 frames. So save these changes. Now you can see this is the 2 frames and this is 2 frames. So in between, it's taking the entire stuff. So for the box, I'm going to say for the box 1, I'm going to say the background color is going to be, let's say hash 999, copy, and for this and for this and for this I'm going to keep it 777, and for this I'm going to keep it 555. Save these changes. Now you can see these are the 3 different frames that you wish to. So if I want to keep it 4 or 5, so now how many frames we have? 5, 7, and this is 15. So I need to reduce this to 5. Now 12 frames. Now you can see these first 2 frames or 2 columns are equal in size. The last one is smaller in size. So this is how you can arrange it. So in this case, I'm going to keep it this one as let's say 2, and let's say 1. Save these changes. Now you can see they are the first and last are, see, it is in the even sizes, and in between it is in the bigger sizes. So this is how you can align it in a way, right? So either you can use the exact 12 count, or you can simply give the easy numerical counts as you want, like ask how you want to understand it. Okay, so then I wish to keep it 2 rows. So grid templates rows, so 100 pixels. So now we can see we have the first row as 100 pixels. So if you want to break it into 2 rows, so the second row I need to keep it in the 200 pixels. Save these changes. So currently you can't see anything. The reason is because everything is in a single row. So I want to make sure which one should be in the first row, which one should be in the second row. I need to make sure that, right? For instance, for the first box, I need to say grid row. It should be in the first row, and it should take the span of 2 columns. Save these changes. Now we can see the first one, it's taking the okay, so first one, and now let's do the same thing for the second one also. So here the second box, the grid row, it should be on the second row, and it should take the span of 1 column. Copy it and paste it. Save these changes. Now you can see the first box, which is in the first row, right? And it will take the span of the two different columns over here. And on the second row, the second box, you can see they are in the second row, and it's taking the span of one box of each, right? So this is how it will, the grid columns and everything will work. For instance, so if I want to make sure this items, the item number one should take the complete column, the second two different columns, so it's taking, so what I'm trying to say here is the first one, the first box, it's in the first row, right? It is in the first row, and the span of two, in the sense, it's going to occupy the two rows completely. So that's the reason the one is occupying the two rows completely. And the second one, it is in the second row, not in the first row, you can see, and it's occupying only one row at a time. That's the second row, and the third is also the same. So if I want to make this first box should occupy the two different columns, then I need to go for grid columns. So I will show you how to do that. All right, so now let's make this first box should occupy the two different columns over here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is grid column. So that should occupy the two columns. So it should occupy the in the first column, it should take the span of 2. So now you can see in the first column, it's taking the span of 2. So if you change it, number 2, now it is in the second column and it's taking the span of 2, right? So you can adjust it however you wanted it. So this is the column number, on which column number you want to maintain it. I want to maintain it in the first column. So, and in this, it should be in the second row, and or if you wish to keep it, if you want to make sure this should take the span of 2, nothing will change because we have only 3 columns. So the math is the important thing over here, right? So if you want to increase it in one more frame, so let's say I'm going to make it 1 each, and I'm going for one more frame. Now we have 4 different columns, so this might work, right? It's because these two, it's taking the 2 columns. This is the third column and this is the fourth column, right? So this is what the important thing which I'm saying, right? So you need to understand the basic mathematics, how many frames that you are breaking and how many frames of each item should take inside it, right? That's the most important thing that you have to understand, right? So this is all about the grid system. I hope you understand how the grid is working. Now let's move on to designing stuff.